way, it is a town way, and the town has significant rights as the manager of that public way. But there's also fee ownership of roads, and I don't know for a fact that the town owns the fee interest there. In fact, it's very possible that it doesn't, because this is such an old road going back a long, long time, and it may very well be that the fee ownership is scattered in some ways. It's an issue, but fee ownership in public rights of way is subordinate to the town's rights in these cases. So the question really becomes, well, what are the town's rights? And so that gets to what is the right of the town in a public way to place a structure such as a toilet, whether it's portable or permanent, in the right of way. And there was some language from lawyers discussing that in the files, and you know, as in most cases, we had some lawyers who were saying we've got the right, and we had other lawyers who were saying we don't have the right, but what we didn't have was a court decision making a call. The other thing is that in this location, and as with any location really on Kings Highway, and I just provided this because of the past work there, it does have an immediate connection to a sewer if that option at some point wanted to be pursued, as opposed to the pumping of portable toilets. So, moving off of that one to Jeffries Way, down at where New Biddeford Road comes in, a lot of similar issues with respect to Jeffries Way in terms of putting a structure within the right-of-way. The ownership of Jeffries Way was established, and it is owned by the Goose Rocks Beach Association, the fee ownership. But the courts also established that it is a public way that the town is responsible for, and affirmed that the fee ownership is subordinate to the town's rights as the manager of the public way. So that was determined in 1989. There was, you know, the town kind of took steps to, I think I'm even told that the town put a portable toilet down there for maybe a day or two, and then pulled it when there was some objections to that. The location is a good one in the sense that obviously there's a lot of public traffic that goes funneling through Jeffries Way. From that perspective, it makes a lot of sense, kind of anchors that end of the beach. But clearly the residents in that, at least some of the residents, indicated in writing from their attorneys that they objected to this and would seek to prevent the town from doing this. And both in terms of there was individual residents that did that, and the Goose Rocks Beach Association expressed their concerns about the town taking this action, and that their belief the town doesn't have the right to place the structure within the right-of-way. So that's in the record as well. Another location that was looked at and considered was the portion of Crescent Avenue that is an unaccepted street behind the Tides Inn, and we had some conversation about this when we were looking at the Tides Inn. It's a paper street, and there was some talk given to putting a restroom structure at that location because it's vacant, and the thought is because it's a paper street, the town has some rights and jurisdiction there. The reality is that certainly we have a lot less standing, the town does, in a paper street than we do in a accepted street or in a public right-of-way, and I think that this is an area to steer clear of personally because of the nebulousness of our rights as opposed to other property owners in the same subdivision area. The general store, there was the expectation when the contract zoning ordinance was passed a couple years ago that the general store would be the location that a contract zone would come forward on, and then there was some delay in that happening because of Mrs. Sotir being ill, and the family just, that not being a priority for them to pay attention to when this contract zone was passed. So they kind of put that on the back burner, and then last year we had the Tides In piece kind of moving forward, so the Sotirs held back from doing anything at that point in time as well. And I had a chance to meet today actually with Matt and Luke Sotir, who drove up so that they could talk about this, which I appreciated. And they indicated to me last year, just for the record, that the Sotirs allowed the town to put a portable toilet in the back of the store, and they're willing to let us do that again this year as well. But they also indicated that the Sotirs family would like to move forward on a contract zone application for the original idea, which had been to put a two-story addition on the back of their existing structure, the first floor of which would be include a men's room and a woman's room, which would be hooked to the sewer, and the second floor of which, and another portion of the first floor would provide loading and unloading access, and storage, and then the second floor would be an extension of the retail operation that's on the second floor there currently. And so they told me today that they would like to move forward with that concept if the town is interested in doing that. And I told them I would certainly mention that tonight at this meeting. And they're willing to do it as soon as it's possible in terms of getting approvals on town warrant. And I guess the question we'll need to think about is whether or not there's adequate time to do that application and get it through the reviews that have to take place in time to get it on the June warrant. If not, they're willing to start right away, and if they have to go to the November warrant, they're willing to do that.
Good.
So, and then just a couple other things. The pump station, the town's established a porta potty at that location west of Dyke Road and a little further than the general store. And that's been in place for, I think this is the third summer as well. And then finally, the question of leasing or purchasing property is an option that has been talked about but not really seriously acted on, and there may be opportunities for the town to enter into a long-term lease or even purchase of property in one of the side street areas off of Kings Highway, similar to the same kinds of locations, but not Proctor Avenue necessarily, but that the Lefler's property is on. So I would just leave it at that, I guess, and just again with the understanding that this is not a comprehensive list, but it's some of the things that I came across.
Thanks, Larry. Any questions or comments from the board?
Just a question, Larry. Do we need to, if we want to proceed, to offer the Sotirs to proceed with their application, do we need to vote on that as far as the board goes, or do they just submit the application?
I think the board would need to indicate that they want to move forward with it before the Sotirs would want to begin to spend money to.
It's up to you guys.
And you'd also need to understand the details of what the arrangements would be in terms of sharing of costs related, what does the town absorb, what do the Sotirs absorb, so that you can consider that. And they're willing to put that forward immediately. Probably put it forward for the next meeting.
That would be great. Yeah, the sooner the better.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, I think, that's something we should vote on, again, as a board, as a total board. Without Alan and Matt here, I'd feel uncomfortable moving forward.
And if we could get the information before the meeting, if that's possible, and then we'd be that much further ahead.
Yep.
May I ask, too, do we have any statistics on how much use the pump station restroom received? I mean, just because of the proximity, to the store.
It certainly